Well folks, I'm here at St Orans Church in Cornwall. I've told you about this concert with Ian White for a couple of weeks, so I hope you've turned up for it. And I've got the great pleasure of sitting here at the moment with Ian White, who, as many of you will know, is a very talented, well-known gospel musician. And he's got a friend with him tonight, Karen Stuart, from the States. Hi Karen.
Hello.
Hi Ian.
Hello.
Well, listeners to Highest Praise, last week I played Giving You All of My Heart, so we've just been hearing that song live. So if you've missed it, then I'm afraid it's your own fault for not turning up. But anyway, that's a good place to start, Ian. Giving You All of My Heart. How did you give your heart to the Lord? When was that?
I was a college student, Stuart, and I'd grown up really with church on the sort of fringes of things. You know, I knew the Church of Scotland was there and I hadn't really bothered with, but I had a Christian school teacher who, just in the course of conversations in 6th year in school, just set me thinking. And then it kind of boiled away for a couple of years. And then, and always give this message to people, always be bold enough to invite people to something. Because I just got invited along to a Christian meeting. And I went along just because something was starting to search in my heart, and I found him that way. So it's like, the scripture that says that if you knock, the door will open. Yes. It's almost like I was looking, and I knew that there was something behind that door. So when someone invited me along, I was kind of an open heart, and that was 1978, a few years ago.
Right. And how did you progress from there to where you are now?
Well,
in the gospel.
I was kind of I just finished up an ordinary arts degree, the kind of degree that I could have gone on to teach or something, going into teacher training, but I did various bits and pieces, just earning a living for a couple of years, wondering what I was going to do and become a Christian. And then I decided to do full-on Church of Scotland ministry. I thought, I'm going to really put the music to one side, and I went back to do a second degree, divinity degree. And during that time, I suppose I quoted this, whenever I was invited to speak and to sing, I was always invited back to sing, not to speak. It was like people were trying to tell me something, we want you to sing. So all that time I would be singing other people's stuff. And then just in around about 1983, I just started a kind of, I hope it was led by the Spirit of God, but I just found myself starting to write, and I had been looking at the Book of Psalms, so I just started writing from the Book of Psalms. And then in 85, all this is in Aberdeen, in 85, a friend, and I'd just finished qualified as a Church of Scotland minister. I hadn't taken up a charge, so I was never an ordained minister. I just had the theological qualification. And I just felt in my heart that somehow some door was going to open for music. I didn't know how. And then a friend came along and said, I want to lend you the money to make a record. Wow. And that was Psalms Volume 1. In 84 was ringing off the hook. Can you come here? Can you come here? And here I am, so many years, 27
the rest
years later.
Is history, as they say.
I've done 20 albums.
Yes.
And quieter now than it was. It kind of peaked in the late 80s, early 90s. We would be filling the bigger halls, selling at Eden Court in Inverness and Music Hall in Aberdeen. That was it's quieter now, but I still get response from people around the world, in America probably more and more, just individual churches enjoying my music. So I feel very, very grateful for having
That's great. And I suppose in Scotland, in the last few years, people have heard you at Clan, for instance.
Yes.
The late night sessions.
Yes, they've been great fun. And I'm hoping after Clan's having to go on cold storage this next year, but we're hoping something will come back the year after that.
I so hope so. And moving right up to today, you've just come back from a tour in the States.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
This is Karen Stuart from, and I'll pass it. So I want Karen to from her angle, to say how she ends up being here. My background is, on Friday past there, I had this plan for a few months. I was going to do a recording of some of these new songs, which I want to talk about. And on the concerts in Kentucky, I had just a feeling, and I kept saying it in the concerts. I said, I've got a feeling there's going to be somebody from Kentucky who's going to find themselves it'll cost you $900 for tickets, return ticket to Scotland, but you come, I'll pick you up from Edinburgh Airport and host you, and you'll come and you'll sing on the album. And I just felt, and my host, who used to be a lawyer but is now a judge, lovely Christian guy, just felt in his heart that he wanted to send his assistant, because he said she's a lovely singer, and I want to give her a week's holiday. Would you pick her up from the airport? So over to you, Karen. So I want to know how you first heard about coming.
Well, here's Karen now, and she's a lovely singer, folks, because we heard her tonight. Karen.
Hello. And really the way I first heard about coming was when Ian White came to my office, and Judge Philpott said that he was going to be at the Bible study on Saturday. Threw out and said, well, if you need a backup singer, you just let me know. Totally kidding, and totally not realizing
Oh my goodness,
that was actually going to happen. Yes, and it was such a blessing that Saturday morning. And then when Judge Philpott told me that I was going to be coming to Scotland at the end of the month, I was just through the roof, absolutely excited, and I've absolutely enjoyed my trip so much.
That's really great, because we've enjoyed having you here as well.
Thank you.
And we just pray that you've had a blessed time here in Scotland.
Yes.
It's a blessed country, you know, so
Yes.
be blessed. So Ian, standing alone you could be an entertainer, full stop, because you're so good. But that's not what you're in the business for, is it?
Well, I suppose that there are. I mean, as I said, I learned this not in churches. I was playing folk with all our work. There's gifting, but there's maybe craft, and you learn how to. I hope I kind of learned how to be relaxed with an audience.
Yes.
And because it's not showing off. It's making people feel comfortable.
Yes.
You know yourself.
Yes,
it's a
that's
giving
right.
thing. If people come to hear a performer and the performer makes you feel uncomfortable, you don't enjoy it. So I like to think of it like, and I suppose I love that way of thinking of it. People sometimes say, do I get nervous before I stand up? And I get nervous technically. Karen will back me up on that. I get nervous if something's wrong technically. I turn into an absolute fried animal. But if I can overcome the technical things, I actually think of the audience as a group of my friends that we're going into a lovely party together to have a great time with and to praise God with. So I feel like, I can't wait to see my friends. That's how I feel.
Yes.
So long as so long as the microphone works and everything's kind of smooth and it works, and but I think it should have a kind of flow about it. You don't want to be over intense too soon. They're also very public meetings. They're not very kind of I like to feel that anybody could come in, whether they were Christian or not.
Yes.
They might say, "Oh my goodness, all this choral singing," because I get people singing. But thanks very much for the compliment. It shouldn't be for me, but I just want to say how I feel about it. I just feel I love making people feel warm. I love looking out and there's smiles and people are. I mean, that was a lovely thing. There's an older guy sitting there tonight when he's got a stick. And he's got that. Scots often don't, they're not very expressive with their faces, and I've got used to that. Sometimes their faces look a bit set in older Scots, And I make a wee joke about when I do this song with the kids, they all pretend to play air guitar. And without cracking his face, he picks up his walking stick and starts playing the guitar. And that's Scottish humour. That's fantastic. It shows that he's feeling warm and he's enjoying it.
Well, it's great that you're here, because you're right, it's entertaining, but it is praising and worshipping as well. And anybody that's coming in who doesn't know Jesus, the gospel is there as well.
Well, that's nice of you to say, and I hope. I mean, music for thousands of years has always had all these components. This, the story. Think of the whole folk music tradition and everything. Storytelling is a huge. Music can be used to tell stories. So loads of my songs, almost all of my children's stuff, are storytelling things.
Yes.
And also like I'm going to do a few in the second half from an album called Move That Foot. One or two of which are very personal kind of experience songs. I meet somebody, the person impresses me, and I write a song, and then we're going to finish off with stuff from the new one, which I must get to your station when it's done.
Well, that's great. Well, thanks Ian and thanks Karen for taking time with us tonight, and we just pray that you'll be blessed in the work that you're doing, and we'll hear a lot more of you and from you.
The waters, I will be with you. I'll watch over you when you walk through the valley. I will comfort you, for I am the Lord your God, who lights the way. There's no need to be afraid. Don't let the